This is my bike. It's a little pearlescent pink Cannondale. I got it last year around my birthday. I had like little beater bikes, like a roommate's extra bike that I bought for $100 or something for like 6 years, and then I really wanted to treat myself and get a bike that fits my body. So I ended up going with this one. It's a nice little kind of like cruiser hybrid. Yeah, and I love it. I've taken it on a lot of miles this summer, which has been really great. Been able to go really far and do long rides. And it doesn't hurt my back anymore to ride my bike. I was riding this like extra large frame bike that was sort of a road bike, and it just didn't fit me at all. And so I really needed something that fit my body. And it's kind of crazy how a good bike will really just, kind of take you way further. Yeah. So I've been biking in this city for 8 years. I actually, around 8 years ago, crashed my car, and I was living in a city where like you couldn't go anywhere if you didn't have a car. And I got this really shitty little bike from Walmart and was like trying to get around there with it, but there wasn't really sidewalks or anything. So I realized I needed to move to a city where I didn't need a car and I could cycle for transport. And my sister was living here, so I decided, okay, let me move to Chicago. And yeah, as soon as I got here, that's when my roommate sold me his bike and I started my cycle journey. Yeah, but it was because it was like out of necessity in a way, where the city I was in, it was really hard for me to like get to work or like do any sort of like daily life functioning. And in this city, it's really easy to get around. If you have a bike rack, I feel like you can move furniture on it, you can move groceries on it, anything really. And so it makes it a lot easier to get around when I don't have like money or access to, or like a desire to drive a car. Yeah, so that's kind of why I got into it. It kind of changes over the years. I used to commute almost every day in my bike, but now, because of working from home, I sort of use my bike more for leisure and, biking the trail, hanging out with friends, like commuting in smaller ways, getting around my neighborhood and things like that. Like a lot of people, it's really nice to, on a beautiful day like this, when I'm out of work early, just like hop on the trail and spend some time outside as well. So sort of like it's evolved throughout the years. And now it's more for fun. Well, when I first moved here, I didn't know anybody. And so I was like, okay, what's something I can do that like gets me out of the house and I don't have to like rely on anyone else to like go and have a good time with it. And cycling was that. I can like, put some music on, bring a little picnic with me and like go to like a fun spot in the city. I think the independence of it is something that I really like. And part of it too is like being able to get myself where I need to go, which was something I really struggled with before I moved to Chicago and like wasn't, in a cycle city, in a city that was friendly to cyclists like Chicago is. So, yeah, that's part of why I like it. I also really enjoy, I think Chicago has a lot of group rides that go out, like a lot of like community organized rides. And so those are really fun too, to like meet new people that you just already have something in common with and find new bike friends. So yeah, cycling with friends is something that I enjoy too. Something that I've noticed just being a lady on a bike is that I get a lot of unwanted attention. So I think that's something that I wish was better, in the sense that like just because I'm a woman on a bike doesn't give people like immediate access to me. So that's something that is sort of a struggle, and I have to be a little more like careful about like when I'm deciding to go on a bike ride or where. So I think safety in that sense is something that I wish would be better, but I kind of just stay hyper vigilant and like know when and when not to bike. If you can, maybe find a buddy and like just bike around your neighborhood at first and try and figure out like what roads in your neighborhood you feel safe on, and then maybe you can like go and take a longer ride somewhere. I'm always trying to convince all my friends to bike, and that's like sort of how I try and get them to go on a ride with me. I'm like, we'll take it easy, like we'll use the protected bike lanes first, and go from there, because I think, it's like other cars that make people nervous, and so if you just like get a little more comfortable, know your way around a bit more, that can be really helpful. I think something that is really funny is people always assume that cyclists, this is kind of silly, but that cyclists won't stop at stop signs. And so when I actually am like trying to be polite and follow the rules of traffic, and I'll pull up to stop, people will still be like, no, go, go, go. And I'm like, no, I'm using a lot of energy to slow down and like be polite and stop. So can you go actually? Because I did all this work to try and follow the rules of traffic. So I think people misunderstand that, like, that part of it, that we're not always breaking traffic rules, and sometimes like they do have the right of way. Although I do support cyclist wrongs and running stop signs, because I do that all the time still. But yeah, that's something that's like kind of a misunderstanding, is like when cars assume how I'm going to cycle on the road just because I'm on a bike, and that's just not always the case.
Thanks for watching that interview. Subscribe to see more conversations with Chicagoans biking around their city, dropping every other week.